Ishla Onha. So that means hello everyone in Mobilian trade language or Yama. So today I'm going to be reviewing this book. It's called Mobilian Trade Language, Phrasebook and Lexicon by David V. Kaufman. So I don't usually do book reviews on my account, but I wanted to go into some of the books I already have and also boost the content of this linguist who looks like they worked very hard on this. So I bought this book probably more than 4 years ago. I've had it for a while, but I never really talked about it. So I just wanted to go into some of the content and to recommend this for anyone who's interested. So first of all, I just wanted to talk about the author, David V. Kaufman. I'm very interested in a lot of his work. So he's also done a Biloxi English dictionary as well as an Atakapa Ishakoi dictionary. So this book is a little old. As I said, I think I bought it like 5 years ago. So the Atakapa dictionary is available. It's for sale. And I just looked. The Biloxi English dictionary is in its 3rd edition. So he's been going over and fixing anything, making additions, corrections, everything like that. So please check out Dr. Kaufman's work with the Biloxi and the Atakapa if you're interested with that. I just checked. I think he's selling them on Amazon. Usually they're about $20 and under. I believe this book, at the time I bought it, was $10. I got it online. So let's get into it. So let's see here. Mobilian trade language, also known as Mobilian Jargon, or Yama in the language, is pretty much documented really well here. He organizes very well. It's very user-friendly. If you're trying to learn it and you're not very into the dictionary setting, then this is perfect because it's very, very user-friendly. So we got the introduction. He talks about Mobilian trade jargon, the origins of it. This side is more of the linguistics part, so if you don't really want to look into that, that's totally fine. It's very brief. The second part is the phrase book, and this I love very much. He organizes so well. You can see there are different categories of different things that you could say. I very much appreciate the phrasebook section. It's very well organized, very well done. And of course, the last part is the lexicon, the dictionary part of it. So, as I was looking through the introduction just now, before I filmed this video, it gives a very comprehensive, detailed overview of Yama, or Mobilian Jargon. So, for those of you that don't know, Mobilian Jargon is a pidgin language. It's now dormant. He writes the first sentences, this book is an attempt to encourage revitalization of the now dormant Mobilian trade language, MTL. So, it is a dormant language, and it originated in the American Southeastern region, mainly as a combination of Choctaw and Chickasaw language, so Choctaw Nompa and Chickasaw Nompa. And if you really want to see where it is, he gives like a very nice map of where it was said. The speakers were mainly concentrated around Louisiana and Mississippi. But I believe he says somewhere that the last speakers died in the 1950s, so it's been a while. It's been a while since people have spoken fluently. So he goes into more of the linguistics here. This is the part where I talk about linguistic terms. So he talks about the difference between a pidgin and a Creole. So a pidgin is basically a combination of different languages for different groups to communicate more easily in a social context. So that could be trade or work. Of course, the Mobilian trade jargon is spoken in context of trade. So when different tribes or nations want to trade with each other, they need to be able to communicate well so they know what's going on. An example of a pidgin that developed through work is Hawaiian Pigeon. So because of a lot of Asian immigrants and Native Hawaiian speakers were working together on sugarcane plantations in Hawaii. They basically developed a pidgin, a combination of a bunch of different languages, so they could communicate more easily together on the plantations. So the thing is, well, Hawaiian Pigeon is technically a Creole, so it goes into Creolization, somewhere around here. So Creoles are basically when pigeons become the first language of children in the home. So it's no longer just spoken in a social context, it's spoken as a community, as a first language, and that's when it becomes a Creole. So Hawaiian Pigeon basically is spoken by a lot of children in the home as a first language. It's very important to identity, to heritage, and things like that. That's an example of a Creole. It's called Pigeon, but it's technically a Creole. What's interesting about Mobilian trade language is that it was never a Creole. It always remained as a Pigeon language, only to be spoken during trade, basically. A lot of children acquire their parents' native language, usually Choctaw or Chickasaw, and then acquired Mobilian trade language when they started trading. And so he gives a very nice example of how distinctive Mobilian jargon is. He gives an example of Choctaw. The sentence "I cut you" is Chibash Lelitok. But in Mobilian trade language, it's Ishno Ino Bashlitaha. That is so different. It talks a lot about the grammar system here. I personally will not go into it right now. But then, he gives a very nice overview of the origins and the use of Mobilian trade language. A lot of history, a lot of cool stuff for those of you who's more interested in historic linguistics. Talks about previous sources of Mobilian jargon, and of course, how languages other than Choctaw and Chickasaw contributed to Mobilian jargon. So that's things like he talks about French a little bit here. He talks about more northeastern languages from the Algonquian family. So words like papos, moccasin, like moccasin, or pecan for pecan, or pecan, however you say it. Very interesting. Of course, here's a very important section, the alphabet pronunciation and stress. So I really like the orthography that Dr. Kaufman used here. It's very easy to read. Not a lot of symbols are difficult. Goes into the different sounds, things like this. And so, of course, a how to use book section. That's very important. Of course, let's get into the phrase book, my favorite part of the book. So they're all very well organized. Of course, not all the phrases are the only entries that there exists in Mobilian jargon. So I'll go over to the section. The first section, ayopochi, welcome and hello. It gives very, very good introductory phrases, things like hello, yes, yama. Yama is also the name of the language. In the language, it means yes, literally. Things like, what's your name? How are you? Things like, I understand. Do you speak Mobilian? A lot of this I very much like. And there's a weather section, question section, family section, store, food. Let's look at food, since I love food. So we have things like paska, wakpishi, coffee, tonchi, konkoshi, konkonipi. Things like this are very well organized, so easy to read, and he's got pronunciation too for those of you who might need a refresher on what some of the symbols mean. And of course, phrases too. So like, what are you eating? Meat is very expensive. That's true. We're cooking chicken. We're eating chicken and rice. So there's all kinds of things like clothing section, body section, the woods and country, numbers, some nice illustrations too. Ooh, like this chon choba is alligator, I believe. Not sure this is a wolf. This is a wolf. Nashoba is wolf. Nita is bear. And of course we got the lexicon section. So this is basically the whole dictionary. So it goes from Yama to English, and then it goes from English to Yama. and it's a pretty comprehensive dictionary. Thing is, there's no grammar section, but I believe if you are really into, I guess, picking apart sentences, you can find a way to model some of the sentences. So I guess what's a good thing is he also got basically the literal translations. So to say I broke my leg, you gotta say leg broke. So you can see the first word is leg. So if you want to say I broke my arm, all you gotta do is, well, let's find arm. It was ilbak. So all you gotta do is replace that ilbak gobafa. I believe that's right. I am not an expert, so I'm not sure if that's right, but from what I see, it looks like it's applicable. So it's a cool short little book. You can carry it around with you. It's about 72 pages, and look, he's even got a Facebook page, so if you have questions on grammar, you can totally ask on this page. He's even got his Gmail here, so you know, if you got questions about how to say something, more questions about how to speak it, or audio, I'm sure that Dr. Kaufman has a lot of resources, a lot of cool things. He seems very reachable to even put his Facebook and his email here. So yeah, basically, I really like this book, Mobilian Trade Language by David V. Kaufman. Hopefully I'm gonna get another one of his books, maybe Biloxi or Atakapa, and I'll review it here too. So, Yakoki, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video.